It is brought to you by Victory because we're both drinking Victory tonight.
No way. What are you drinking?
Oh, shit.
The
I
golden
got that
monkey?
golden monkey, that
Wow,
9.5
this is
triple L.
Just following the hazy train, bro.
Hazy
I'm
train.
going off the rails on a hazy train.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do that, man.
I was waiting for that.
Serving up
I was about
meatballs
to break
over
down
here.
to the. Dude, I'm so pale. I burn in the wintertime.
I'm so pale.
Tell you what, though,
with
when
it.
the ice age comes back,
Hello.
people like
taking
me,
over.
people like me are gonna be having a good time.
Well, I don't think anyone's gonna be having a good time, but you might be alive.
Because no one's going to like you anyway if you're like plowing the roads so that people can get to school and to work. Like nobody's going to want you.
What
the
if
movie
But you just
Snow
do it.
Day,
You become like an
where the
urban
plow
legend.
guy is
Yeah,
the
it's
villain?
Snow Day. Exactly. That's it.
What if you made your money from people paying you not to plow?
Oh, you just hold
That's-
it like a threat,
probably
like
wouldn't
Dr.
be
Evil.
much
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
just,
just
show
have
up.
a fleet.
I show up on the
Like-
road with like 6 plows, and I'm like, "Give me $1,000, or we're gonna plow the fuck
what
out
I'm
of your
saying.
road."
That's literally
what I'm saying.
extortion. That
Yeah.
is literally extortion. I thought you were Mr. Fix It, not Mr. Build It and Fix It.
I can do anything you need for money. Just give me a task.
The
Anything.
first guy to ask for Mr. Fix It to do something, asked for him to do something completely separate from fixing something.
Imagine if I
Doesn't
just
even
like
fix
Fix
a
my
damn
marriage.
sent back an email like really mad, like, "The hell is wrong with you? I fix things. I don't create anything."
Call me
Yeah.
when it breaks and I'll come over and fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna build you a snake trap,
Build it
break it,
damn
and then I
self.
can fix it for you before I sell it.
Earwunk.
What's the most
Oh,
interesting
man.
meat that you guys have eaten?
Meat?
Alligator.
Yeah, like meat.
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. How do
That
you
is
like
a
to
good
define meat?
That's a great response question.
I feel like
'Cause-
it's pretty straight up. It's
No,
meat. It's
An animal.
flesh.
Some people are like, fish is fish, not meat, and I'm like, motherfucker, it's flesh from an animal.
count.
It's
I
meat.
kind
Yeah,
of count.
Fish are
Yeah,
friends,
I count
not
that.
food.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
it comes to eating living things, it's either a plant or an animal or a fungi.
Yeah.
Okay, if it
Or a
comes from the
byproduct of
animal
an animal?
kingdom, like what? An egg?
Egg.
An egg or like feces or something like that. Yeah, sure.
Egg is
Feces.
meat.
Who eats
Egg is meat.
feces? That's not food.
That's
Dude,
Julian's
you don't
number
know.
one most
You don't know.
consumed food.
Oh
That's
my
his
There-
strict
there is that-
feces diet. That's it.
There's
It's a
that, there's that,
delicacy.
Huge
there's
feces
that
guy.
coffee. Coffee, there's like that cat poop coffee.
Huge.
Tapu.
Oh
You ever heard
yeah.
about that
Mr.
cat poop? Apparently it's really good.
Yeah, from
There you go.
What's that movie?
You will eat
No,
that
it's a
tapu.
real thing. It's not from a
Bucket-
movie, it's real life.
Well, I heard it from the bucket list. Kopi Luwak.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's
Wait,
the most expensive coffee in the world because it's like coffee beans that are eaten by a jungle tree cat that's like super exotic, and then it shits out the coffee beans and they steep that for your coffee.
Oh
It's, like,
yes, I have
super
heard
good.
that.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Apparently it's good. Apparently,
Kopi Luwak.
I mean, I've heard reviews that it tastes the same as coffee, and it's like, I don't know.
It
What
better
do you-
be
what-
good. It's like $5,000 a pound.
I think it's the processing. You're paying processing costs. The overhead on that must
I'll
be
take
tremendous.
a shit and you can
Yeah.
eat those beans.
How do you industrialize
pay
that
me
process? You gotta
$5,000.
feed.
You can't. The thing that breaks the coffee beans down is an endangered animal. So there's
Okay.
no industrialization of it.
How do you
It's very-
verify? How is that verified? How do I
have
know
to
that
bring-
you didn't shit them out yourself or have your fucking house cat take a dump with some coffee beans? Where's the quality control?
Some guy like,
selling black market Kopi Luwak, just have like
You're
a
wired
house
all
full
the
of
time.
cats. No, your cats are.
Oh.
You got like a house full of 100 cats, and you just feed them coffee beans and sell their
they
shit for
can do it, so can
$2,000 a pound.
Wait, so anyway, Jules, the strangest, if we're gonna include the flesh of any animal, it would have to be either bullfrog or grasshopper. we were in Harriman State Park and we'd been camping for a few days, and I had broke the fishing pole accidentally within like the first hour of the trip. So,
And we had brought maybe like 3.5 days of food rations for a 5-day trip. We have to find food out here, otherwise we're gonna have a bad time.
so because I broke the fishing pole, AJ tried to make a makeshift one, and he put like duct tape and sticks to make like a splint around the fishing pole, and the thing kind of just like died again right when we were trying to cast
It's like
off.
a sad boner.
And we get to the lake only to find that that chicken leg was just a bunch of broken vending machines. Like, we're like fucking hungry.
The
They were
vending
all out of
machine in the
order.
middle of the woods only takes credit cards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there's a huge, vast wilderness around you. All of a sudden, we see this big, fat bullfrog just leap in front of us. And AJ looks at me and he's like, I'm gonna catch it. While AJ's like trying to like scoot around, he's like, oh yeah, right? He's like, he sucks at catching bullfrogs. And eventually he
I
gets
didn't
it.
have much practice in my defense.
No, so he catches the thing. So he's like, here, put it in your waist strap pocket. And so like we're walking along, and every couple like 30 minutes or something like that, the frog would start kicking, and I'd freak out thinking that there was something on me. It was just a frog. So I'm like, oh my god.
Every single time you're just like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, what was that?
To take off its skin, you feel like a dirty magician. Like you feel like you're pulling its pants off. It's like
So I'm like, why don't you just like chop its head off? Maybe that'll kill it. Right?
Maybe.
Maybe. So,
it
so,
didn't.
like,
It
so
didn't
AJ
die.
It catches a groove, and he ends up cutting the frog's face off, and he's freaking out. And AJ's like, I don't know what to do. So he hands the frog to me. He goes, become a part of the ceremony.
Join us.
I just start skinning it, right? Because this thing's
He
dead.
grabbed it by the spinal cord and just start like slipping the skin off. And
Oh
the
my
thing's
God.
still kicking. It's
Horrible.
like, no, don't
No.
undress me now.
It's a primitive animal, right? It's a amphibian. It's like, right? So it's not gonna like have a philosophy about what's going on. It just knows, or like the nervous system's firing off like crazy, and it comes off like a wetsuit. So I have the whole frog. I have the whole frog twitching and squirming in my hand with no skin. And
I hope
we didn't.
PETA
man.
never sees this video.
That's what
Yeah,
I was just
right?
thinking.
Whatever.
The
No, like
Oh,
you want
guts.
to you want to eat the heart, you want to eat some kidneys, you want to eat the liver. You can use those for sausages later. For your
Leave
bigger
me the
animals.
penis.
Well, you can eat that too. Actually, in the Philippines, there's a dish.
Actually, in
that-
the Philippines.
Actually,
No, they actually they harvest like all parts of the tuna, like a yellowfin tuna, and they
Tuna
one of the-
penis? Mind you, we were eating grasshoppers before frogs. You mentioned grasshoppers, and that was like the night that we came back from the stupid vending machine. We were just like, we need some protein. That
Those
was
are
the
good.
first time in my life. I'm a very privileged, blessed, fortunate person. I've never been that hungry. It was a primal feeling. It was just like this natural, like, I need to eat, you know?
and I would just hold the bullfrog down and just like chop it in half, and the front half would like kind of like waddle away, and then flip over and die. Right? And if you've ever seen Fantasia with the brooms, right? And
Yeah.
the brooms just like start doing shit. Mind you, I was stoned out of my gourd, but I chop a second bullfrog in half, and the same exact thing happens in the same exact way. And this bullfrog makes yeah. So like I'm processing these frogs, and they begin to make their own pile of dead bullfrog carcasses.
And that's
Off-
when you
off of the
stopped me
tinfoil.
and you're like, hey, whatever you're doing is not important right now. You need to see this. And I
Yeah.
can confirm I witnessed the fact that he cut a bullfrog in half and skinned the legs while the upper half was just like crawling slowly over to the pile of dead frogs, only to push itself on its back and die with its brethren.
Yeah, it was like straight up Fantasia. It
That's
was like
weird.
God himself was helping me process this food.
Speaking of Jewish,
damn.
Evan, do you know why Jews get
damn
circumcised?
Because we're forever unclean. I don't know
I
why.
smell a dad joke.
No, because Jewish women won't touch anything unless it's at least 20% off.
Not wrong. You're not wrong. That's a good one. I like that. I'm gonna call my mom.
Oh, just
The number
Stop
5.
the podcast. I need to call my mom and
Janet.
tell her this Jew joke.
5.
Janet.
One of the things I want to eat is
Pussy.
a moose heart. Well, I don't really have to go far for that, but I do have to go far for a moose heart.
I
840
open
to
mouth kissed a horse once.
840 to 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah.
big.
So like you're thinking about
That's
like
me
a
on a
heart
bad day.
like that big, right? That's my head. You know, it's a big animal.
That's like
But,
8
like,
I
pounds
got a
of
heart
meat.
that big.
Right.
Did he mug me?
It's like 500 to 600 pounds of meat right there. You know, because the bones are really heavy.
I mean, just the heart is probably like 8 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got 600 pounds of meat for you
But-
right here in my
but
pants.
it's a muscle, right? So you can just
You must
like,
be
you
wearing JNCO jeans. Fit all that meat in there.
Don't tell Fred Durst, but I stole his pants.
Speaking of anal probes,
Yeah.
sorry,
Final thoughts.
I forgot where I was going with that.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. All right, who wants to get probed first?
Fine, I'll blow first.
And I think a lot of people who like to eat meat end up taking it for granted because they never have to do the dirty. Well, I will search
Yeah.
high and low on this earth for the most interesting fucking to put in my mouth.
I got some interesting meat for you to put in your
Oh
mouth.
yeah?
About 600 pounds of it.
You better
You're
like it.
asking for it. You're asking for
I
it.
like my meat
what-
with garlic salt, so you know I'm gonna be on that shit.
Gotta
What-
keep those
what-
vampires away,
Marinate
bro.
it first, yeah.
What meat are you offering, Billy?
My man meat.
600 pounds.
600 pounds of my man meat.
It's 3 times the size of the actual man.
Huh.
But you can only reach me via JNCO phone, so I don't think you can. I don't think you can afford
incoming
me.
calls.
receive
No
calls.
incoming
Oh,
calls.
that's right. So I guess I'll have to call you, man. Sorry.
I think that's a good time to
How
wrap it
did
up.
I forget that I can't receive calls?